Happy New Year, everybody. Just, whew, 2021 went by super quick. Hopefully, 2022 is a lot better. So I appreciate that game over. You can always reach out to me on email if you want to chat about it. Just let me know. It's professorblackops@gmail.com. I need to start putting that in my description. What's up, Jerry? Happy New Year to you too. Listen, I'm trying to get motivated. I'm dragging a day, but I can't complain. So let's get it. We usually go over the just let me know, game on. We usually go over real quick the videos I've done throughout the week. That'll give time for a few people to call in. You know me, of course. You got some cybersecurity questions, just drop them in the chat. We can chop it up about cybersecurity. But let's just go over the videos I did this week. I just kind of do that, give people time to file in. Well, I thought this one was weird. Um, what's up, Miss Nash? Glad you can make it. Happy New Year. They took an old toy. I remember this toy. This is I think they said it's 25-year anniversary of this toy. Then they put Bluetooth on it, right? Then they didn't think about it. Now hackers are getting hacking into the toy, and pedophiles are messing with kids because they try to make a toy a little too hip. So it was a Fisher Price telephone. Hackers and pedos spied on children's call. Long story short, they put Bluetooth on it, and they didn't secure it. So if you're in the area of Bluetooth, right, you could just join in with it, and then you got access to the kids, access to the toy. And if the toy's unhooked, if you're in a room talking, the toy can listen into your conversations, right? So once again, sometimes we do too much with technology. What's up, JM? Happy New Year. So I always get perplexed when we do too much with kids' toys. I understand if it was like training or teaching a kid, but just putting a Bluetooth on a phone call on a kid's toy so you can talk to them and they can take the real calls, but then once again, you don't lock down the Bluetooth. Bank jugging, how to be safe. Bank jugging at a high level is true game over. It's just a lot of sick people. That's why you got to be careful. And two is a lot of people don't realize is it's not super hard to do. If I get through your Wi-Fi, right, and I send Bluetooth to your Wi-Fi, now I could be in another state, but since your router's close to your kid's toys, I can use that Bluetooth technology to join to that toy and and talk to the kid from a whole different state, right? If you hack the router, so bank jugging, it just came up on my live stream. It's basically where people follow people to the bank if they see you with the bag a lot of times as a business, you go in, then you bring out another bag because you're opening up your register for the day, right? So you got $1,000, in ones, fives, and tens. So when you come out with that bag, they follow you and rob you because they seen you walk out with a bag of money. My thing is, I wouldn't walk out with a bag of money. I at least put it in my jacket or hide it. But they showed a lot of people, actually not a lot, but at the end, there was a couple news reels where the webcam at the bank showed people following them out and then tracking them down and robbing them. Facts, Nash. Let's leave the babies alone. So that was jugging. Like I said, we all know. Just be careful with your money. Shout out to Miss B for Nash. She interviewed me. So usually I let my interviews stay on another channel for a month. And usually I just bring it over to my channel. So she was gracious enough to interview me, and we had a great conversation about regular security for regular people. Right? Sometimes I think we get too excited about these metaverse hacks and all kind of exotic hacks and what was that, the log4j Apache hacks, but there's stuff regular day people need to do to be secure, right? So that's part of my channels. I just want to talk about basic security for regular people, right? I do like the exotic stuff though, but sometimes we just got to make sure your PayPal and Cash App is not getting robbed, right? Or nobody's following you in the bank like the bank jugging, right? Let's do some basic stuff before we get exotic with it. So, um, Let's see, leader so long. We always forget the facts, Jerry. I'm all like fundamentals. We need to go back to the fundamentals because that's really what's going to help the average person, right? Be secure. Now, us as practitioners and cybersecurity people and the companies we doing, they should be us and they should be locking it down. But there's stuff that everyday people are not doing that I think will help them out tremendously in their life. I saw this and I just, because I'm old now, that BlackBerry just cheered me up because I remember when BlackBerry was the stuff. They used to call it Crackberry. It was actually one of the, I'm gonna say that one of the top phones at this level that brought all the apps to iPhone and Android. They were there first to kind of show people what you can do with a phone. Their basic app was the email. Right. I remember being executives and I had by that BlackBerry, they were just sending an email constantly. Right. So you didn't have to take a call. Texting wasn't really big yet, but that BlackBerry with the email, that was a killer device for a killer product. At its height, I think they said it had 70 million devices out there. So for me, that was kind of nostalgic. And like we talked about, you got to stay on technology because new technology is going to come out, new technology is going to be better, right? So if you ain't keeping up with technology like BlackBerry, you could be left behind. End of life and innovation always wins. The iPhone 1 was just better phone, better app, better technology. I don't think it was more secure, but the phone factor and the users creating apps for it just took it over the top. But shout out to BlackBerry, man. They had their run. You know, when you got 70 million plus devices out there, you know, you win. This is kind of went slightly viral for me, which my channel's small, but once again, people picking on the babies. Amazon Alexis gives kids a daily challenge. A mother and a daughter was doing these challenges, uh, and the daughter asked Alexis to give it a challenge. It was called a penny challenge on TikTok. You take a plug and plug it halfway in, and you touch it with a penny. Alexis told a little girl to do that. Of course, the little girl was smart, but you know her mother got concerned. Her mother came in the room screaming, "Don't do it!" Right? What's up, Helmet? So once again, technologies are cool, but we got to keep a lookout and make sure the technology is not leading us astray, right? So Alexa's gonna tell the girl, plug the plug in halfway in the wall and touch it with a penny, right? That could kill you if it's enough amps in there. Probably not from a regular plug, but it's not gonna feel nice. So once again, uh, watch out for technologies with your kids and even yourself. All technology is not good technology. What's up before the billions? Shout out to him. But yeah, once again, Alexis giving bad advice. That was super big on the internet out. So like I said, it kind of went semi-viral for me. I was surprised um, how many impressions I got and actually how many views I got. So shout out to Alexis giving bad advice. How you doing, Kalila? But let's go and get into the actual AWS. It's short. It's talking about support and pricing. Probably one of the most boring things on the practitioner test, but we got to put the work in. Once again, if you got any cybersecurity questions, just drop them in the box. Y'all know how I roll. We can pivot and come back. Not a big deal. Like I said, this is gonna be short. This pricing and support is not a big segment. Once again, I'm studying for the practitioner, the AWS practitioner cert. I haven't took a cert in 10 years, so I thought I'd start off with something a little light and hopefully a little easy. But I don't memorize like I used to. So let's get on it. Let's see. Let's see, Jerry. For a SOC analyst, what programming languages should I know or learn that sets me apart from Python? I would do Python. If you look in SOC, I'm an AWS guy, but any of the I'm trying to think of the word for it, Terraform, any of the build tools will help. Because as a SOC analyst, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at CloudFormation and Terraform and Chef it and Puppet. There actually tells you how to build stuff. So as a SOC analyst, if you want to check to make sure all your S3 buckets were encrypted against, like where I work at, we got 400 VMs. So you want to script that up, Jerry. So you could use CloudFormation with Python um, to go out through and check each one of those 400 VMs to make sure your S3 bucket was set. Or two is if you're looking for, like I said, I've been studying for the AWS. They got something called it's with Cloud Trail and Guard Duty. Guard Duty will go out there and do that for you, but then once you in Cloud Trail, you have the answer in 400 VMs. You need something like Python or CloudFormation to go out there and pull that answer out and put it on the dashboard, right? So that's what I would recommend. The build tools, Terraform is more universal. You can use that on Azure or Amazon or Google. Like I said, I'm just kind of super focused on AWS, so I was looking at cloud formation is the same thing as Terraform because as a SOC analyst, part of that job is, like I said, set up observations in the different stuff that you got to read across multiple servers, right? So I always use Python with CloudFormation. Then that enable you to build dashboards. And the cool thing about that, Jerry, is I'm gonna start doing that on my channel with labs, so um, we can do that together. Because, like I said, I'm kind of getting my AWS skills, and I'm gonna start programming again. So that's one of the things I'm gonna start doing on this channel, doing more labs and doing SOC analyst stuff like that, or SRE, site reliable engineers. What what can you do across multiple servers to help your organization? Shout out to the bad advice for last year. To be honest, I mean, my grandson pretty. I probably told him to do it, and we can sue Alexa. Nah, I'm just playing. We can sue Amazon. But now the crazy thing is, it took me a while to think about that. What Alexa does is it's simple, but I didn't think of it like this. When you talk to Alexa, it goes out and Google's that and use stuff, and it gets the highest ranking search from that most high ranking articles that come for that, and they just serve that up to you in voice. So that was a huge. It was called a penny challenge. That was a huge challenge on TikTok. So it probably had 100 million hits from from when you Googled it or queried it. So Alexa said, "Oh, that must be a good idea, right?" The cool thing is, shout out to Engineering Cannabis, they put some logic in there. So I don't know to kind of rank those articles for health to make sure they're not dangerous, right? Just because it's number one or article, if I'm Alexa program, I wouldn't think it would be dangerous, if 10 million, 100 million people doing it, right? So shout out to Alexa. So I guess they put some programming logic, I guess, to take that and figure out if what the negative articles say about that, right, to serve it up. So let's talk about what's up, network, bro. Where you been, man? You all right? I was gonna send the homies over looking for you, man. I ain't seen you publishing lately, network, bro. I was gonna send you some sticks, so go check out network, bro. He one of the top networking guys. Young guy, he always labbing. I be in his labs learning, and I try to give him a security check to work on his lab. I'm gonna reach out to him. I want to collab with him. I'm gonna have his at-home lab connecting to my AWS and see if we can secure it from his on-prem to my AWS. I think we might try to do a VPN tunnel or something. But go check my man out. You all right, network, bro? I ain't seen you in a while labbing, man. Just checking on you. So we talking about pricing and support. So me, being a better frugal guy, let's start off with the AWS free tier. Enable you to begin certain services without having to worry about incurring costs for a specific period of time. They have three types of free, which I thought was interesting. They have the always free, the 12 months free, then a short trial, right? For each free tier, you make sure you review the specific details about exactly which resources types are included, right? Because I know a couple pig. What's the stick other day? I gotta get one. We talking about AWS. Um, you got to be careful when you get on AWS, even testing it. So I'm making sure I'm locking mine down. I'm making sure all my users in my test environment has multi-factor authentication because a lot of people, even my homie on here, Citizen Lou, said Amazon tried to give him, I think, a $10,000 bill. Somebody actually hacked his account and started doing bit mining. He said he didn't have to pay him. I think they charged him a little extra. So, but you got to be careful because people get hacked, and Amazon be trying to send you a 10,000 bill for something you didn't do, right? So I'm trying to make sure my stuff's locked down, and I get emails if it gets over a certain dollar amount, so I don't get in get in that predicament. So the cool thing is pay for what you use. For each service, you pay exactly the amount of resources that you actually use without acquiring a long-term contract or complex licensing. But the other issue of that is if it was a certain amount per month, I wouldn't have to worry about somebody hacking me, right? And giving me a 10,000, a $20,000 bill for something I didn't run. What's up, Wally? So a little happy New Year's to everybody. So that's the negative of that. Pay when pay less when you reserve. Some servers offer reservations option that provides a significant discount compared to on demand. For example, the company is using Amazon EC2 for a workload that needs to run continuously. You might try to use a workload of EC2 for instant saving plans because the plan allows for up to 72% of the equivalent on demand. All right. So if you know you're gonna run something for 3 years, if you uh, I'm gonna call it buy or rent a full server, they give you 72% discount. Why is they know what that server is gonna be used for, right? And it's gonna be part of that. So as you, it's like anything too. The longer you buy, usually the cheaper it is, right? So that's the same thing too with Amazon. So you can get up to 72% on demand, or there's spec stuff where if there's nobody using these servers, Amazon will let you use them for 3 hours at a 90% rate. Why? Amazon already bought them, right? So if nobody's using them, if they give you a break, right, they still make money on it. So pay less with the volume based discount. That's what we were talking about. Some services tier pricing, so per unit is incrementally lower than the increase. One of those is the S3 bucket, right? Everything gets saved in the S3, right? Talk about calculator next. Cool things is they give you calculators so you can kind of put in how long you're going to use it, what you think your volume is, what you think your bits in the network's going to be, right? Because they charge you for all of that, right? So they got calculators out there to help you calculate that. For how long in terms of weeks or months do you think it would take for for this is Jerry, Professor? How long in terms of weeks or months do you think it would take for you to study and be ready for an exam? It just depends on the exam. Like the practitioner, I've done most of that all my years for 10 years. I just gotta uh, turn my terminology from on-prem to how AWS, because a lot of it's the same thing as just terminology. Right? If it was programming, right, like I programmed for 15 years. Once again, it's terminology. I was looking at the associate architect. Now that even though I've been architect, they got a lot of service and the way the cloud does a little differently. So for me, that probably would be 3 months for me if I go hard. So it just depends on the level of testing and my background. See, shout out to network, bruh. Network is my weakest point, and I do a lot of Cisco um, security checks like the STIGs, like we talked about. Certain protocols can be on, or this certain protocol needs to time out. I've done those checks, so I understand Cisco. But when you start talking about all those routings and BGPs, and when you start talking about spanning multiple bridges, and VPNs, I don't have. That's not my background, Jay. So it just depends on the the test and what's that's doing. What's up, Israel? Hey, Professor, honestly, I wouldn't say 3 to 4 months. Like I said, though, it just depends, Israel. I'm old, man. I've been doing a lot of stuff for a lot of years, so that kind of gives me a heads up. Like I said, I programmed for I've been on for 15 years. I've been an application admin with Tomcat. I spun up Apaches. I've been a junior Linux admin. Like I said, when you do that from an architectural standpoint, you use all those components, right? So that kind of helps you out. So let's talk about the pricing calculator. Lets you explore AWS services and create an estimate for the cost of use cases on AWS. You can organize your AWS estimates for the groups that you define. A group can reflect how your company is organized, such as providing estimates for a cost center. Like depending on how you got to divide it up, right? If you got separate users and separate AWS organizations, each one of those users can get a bill. But if you put I'm calling it the root users at the top, and both of those accounts on their root users, those bills can roll up into one corporate bill. That's really how you want to do it. You don't want to have all these small bills. So you really want to roll. So each user can check on their bill. Like you could have two development teams and one specifically for the office. You want to make sure you're billing right for those different parts of the organization. So you know if their bill rate's too high, but you want to roll that up into a kind of like a root user with an overall organizational bill, right? The calculator, you can enter details such as operating system you need, memory, input and output requirements, uh, AWS pricing. You can review estimate comparison on different EC2 instances. And two is they could be across region, right? So if you're using one region versus two for DR and COOP, right? So more EC2s or VPCs or this space you're using, of course, is going to cost more, right? So that's pretty standard. Let's say you can. Let's say you SOC analyst. Do you think you can? If you let's say for a SOC analyst, well, let me back up, make sure I'm getting them all. I want to say 3 and 4. Sorry for no, you good, Jared. All questions are good. I'm cool with that. There's the test is 65 questions. Yeah, for the is you talking about for the practitioner? I think you yeah, I think the practitioner is 65. Let's say for a SOC analyst, you do you think going for a CNA is necessary? Or you got to know your stuff and get away with a net plus. Um, you could get away with a net plus because you got to remember, SOC analyst is huge, right? Um, there's SOC analysts that look at the network, and that's why I was joking with network, bruh. I'm a SOC analyst. We got other side. I very rarely look at the networking. I'm more purple team. I'm gonna look at the application development. I'm gonna look at the web server. I'm gonna look at the app server. I'm gonna look at it connecting to the database. Then from a management side, I'm gonna look at our disaster recovery plan, our COOP plan, our CMS, how are we doing agility, right? All those type of things. So I don't really look at the network a lot, Jerry. So it just depends really on how big your organization, because we have 7 people. So my counterpart, he actually worked in networking, and he's older than me. He wasn't big fine. He's 60. So yeah, so I'm having him on my show. So it just depends on what part of the SOC analyst you do. Because as a SOC analyst, you're not gonna master all that, Jerry. Now I work with Network Bruh because I want to get bigger with it. When he says the subject in his heading, I try to look up STIGs, which is checks. So I try to send him a check today. So get him used to looking at federal checks and get me looking at different stuff. Like I think he did BGP one day. So I looked at the check. So that's how I get better at it, Jerry. Like I said, collabing with people. So as Network Bros doing those labs, I try to say, okay, here's a security check for that lab, Network Bro. He might not doing it, but he's learning too, because some of those checks are a little different in detail. So we talk. So that's how I learned, Jerry, from my perspective. Israel studying 2 hours a day for 3 months is going to take tests in March. Okay, this test is fairly cheap. Facts 100. Yep, yep. So you studying for the practitioner too, Israel? I think I knew that. Or am I? Yeah, me. That's my plan. Salute. Peace, BBO Police Spark. I appreciate you, man. You look at a lot of my videos for me, Spark. I appreciate that. Let me say 3 months for entry level. Nah, for entry level, you will be fine with the Network Plus. To be honest, most SOC guys, they're not network fluent. Um, they're not that network savvy. So you'll be fine for entry level. You get Network Plus, you're gonna be ahead of a lot of people. The other part, AWS billing and cost dashboard, you get a dashboard that so keep track of your money. So I'm trying to look at mine every day so I won't get any surprises. So once again, I'm getting some labs set up. That's cool. Where's this class at? He's a cool guy. We got a few minor differences, but he's definitely a smart guy. Um, I never see him on Israel. I think we talked about that. Where's this class at? Does he got a separate site or a separate? He's not doing it on YouTube. He's got his own spot. Use the AWS billing cost management to pay for your bill. AWS Bill, you monitor your usage and analyze and control your costs. Compare your current month to date balance with previous month to date to get a forecast of the next month. View month to date spends for the services. your free tier usage because after a certain time, your free tier could become unfree free if you use too many your bandwidth's too high or you're using too many resources. They can change your free tier to paid tier, so you want to keep on access to Cost Explorer and create budgets, purchase and managing. Then you get the reports. So what I'm working on, like I said, I'm setting up my lab, so I'm getting my budget, what money I don't want to go over, and then have it send me email once I break that budget, right? And two, to help you forecast. So if you're 25% over budget, let's say you 50% over budget, but you only 25%, you know, in through the week, right? Your forecast is going to be over budget. So like I said, I'm not trying to get one of them scary $20,000 AWS bills. I guess I didn't know. Hey, Zoom has. Okay, that's cool. Hey, I'm required to take the Azure cert for developers to meet the goal. That's cool. I think I've heard of that before. Which cert are you taking, engineering cannabis? Facts. Like I gotta leave them up a little bit. I'm gonna try not to use them. I guess I could delete them and rebuild them with Cloud Formation, Israel, and that'll help me keep those up. But yeah, I'm trying to build it up to a certain level too. So yeah, I think the best way to handle that is what's your LinkedIn though? I'll drop that in the link. A security group, so you don't owe 40. Citizen Lou with that 40 scared me. That got me looking right. So salute the engine and Canada. Would be great to connect to you. That's cool, Jerry. Reach out to me in email, Jerry. Professor Black Ops at gmail.com, and we can switch change that out. I'll give you that. Tobias, good afternoon. Azure Cloud Surf for developers. Okay, that's cool. Well, I guess that makes sense. Engineering cannabis, right? You're AI. AI and machine learning. I always put that on top of regular development, so that kind of makes true. Because I know for a lot of, I'm thinking about going back to DoD. My contract's up coming up this summer, so for that you got to have a Security Plus or some certification to work in a government job. Oh, Israel, I think Kubernetes is great. Containerism, especially from a security point of view, is great. Once again, though, you talk about networking and all that built into the cloud. So now I think Kubernetes. I'm starting out with Docker because most Java people use Docker, Israel. But if the next level is, especially if in the cloud, container is I think the next level of security in there, especially if you're talking about zero trust that the government wants businesses and federal clients to use. It's much easier to do that Israel on container. Once again, since I'm a Java guy, I'm actually going to do some videos about Docker. But when you talk about orchestration of that. That's what Docker excels at. So that's actually on my list. 2022 things, and I'm gonna try to talk about that tomorrow, Israel. I want to, but yeah, I think containers is like like engineering this cannabis is saying. I'm going Docker because I'm a Java guy. Kubernetes or Docker best containers for transferring AI code. Yeah, so I think that you need to put that on your list. Israel, I would just start off at high level, how to deploy a container. Once again, AWS, you can hit a button, you could deploy your Docker container, Kubernetes container, and it actually has some. Oh, God, I can't think of the name of that'll help you manage that in the cloud. What was it? It's Fargo. I think it was Fargo. It helps you manage your containers in the cloud. So I've been reading a little bit about that, but like I said, that's my next move. Talk about consolidating billing. AWS Organization is a service that enables you to manage multiple AWS accounts from a simple location. AWS organizations provide support, like we talked about, for consolidated billing. The consolidated billing feature in AWS organization enables you to receive single bills for all your AWS account in your organization. By consolidating, you can easily track combined cost of all of the linked accounts in your organization. The default maximum is 4 organizations. But two, you can save money because if you use things like we talked about, because you put these 4 accounts together, you know you're going to use a server for 3 or 4 years, you can just rent the whole server and get a 72% discount or even higher, right? So that's why you want to do consolidated billing. Because when you look across your org, it'll show you how to save money and move, the proper way for your organization. So consolidated billing. Another benefit is the ability to share, like we talked about, bulk discounts, saving plans, reserve instances across your organization. For instance, one account might not have enough monthly usage to qualify for a discount billing. However, when multiple accounts are combined, their their aggregated usage may result in benefits that apply across all your accounts in your organization. So that's kind of how you want to move, save money, right, and make that happen. Got the tools on Happy New Year's. People, I appreciate it. AWS is all I see. That's me. I've been trying to go hard. Like I said, I'm studying for my practitioner. Then I probably study for my Security Plus. I got the 501, but I need to get the 602, the newest one, because I'm teaching another class probably coming up on the Security Plus. So I want to get ready for the I think it's 601 or 602, whatever version that is. Update my slides to do that and get back on the Security Plus. Then on top of that, to make it a little better, I'm actually set up a learning management system. So I'm going to have quizzes and tests to go along with the version of the slides for that week. I mean, you don't have to test them, but if you want to have test questions and scenarios and quizzes, I have those built into a learning management system that I'm going to put on AWS. So it's gonna be interesting. So let's see. Solution. So here's it at a high level. You got your primary account. You got your AWS account 1, 2, and 3. You see there 19, 19, and 20. You roll those up. There's 73. You might be able to get a discount at that 73.80 range, right? Like you talked about when you put all those up. And the primary account is at the top. That'll be your I'm calling them admin accounts. Then you have regular accounts connected to your admin primary account at the top. So that's the move to making. That's what we're going to be moving to. So like my man said, I won't be like Citizen Lou, so I'm trying to get my budget set up inside Amazon. Anything over $100, I need to be emailing ASAP, right? AWS Budget lets you create budgets to plan your services, usage, and service costs, and instance reservation. The information in AWS Budget updates 3 times a day. This helps you accurately determine how close you are to your usage, is your budget amounts or to your AWS free tier limits. The budget you can also set up custom alerts when you see the usage or forecasted to exceed the budgeted amount. All right, so this is good, but what if you get a denial of service account at 1 a.m. when you sleep and you don't wake up to the email, right? So this is just one thing you put in there to help you, but you need to have some other resources in there also, right? But this is definitely a good one. This is what the budget looks like. So let's see. I want to, but I don't understand these words. But we, I feel you, Miss Nash. I'm gonna have to get um, a beginner class for the beginners that wanna progress in the IT. So that's actually on my agenda too in 2022. Um, not to not to this class for you. I'm hoping to teach middle school kids Python this summer online. Set up some once again a learning management system. Just have some handouts we can pass out with some basic exercise. So middle schoolers, I think the first thing into that is kind of programming. Um, I used to say let's get kids comfortable with technology, but hell, babies are using phones and uh, skipping ads so they can see their favorite cartoons. So I think kids are comfortable with with technology. We just need to get to the next step and setting people up to make real money and have a career path, right? To what they can do when they get in high school or after high school. So they have the basic knowledge where they can just step into some and be self-sufficient and make real money on the internet. So here's the budget. There's 7 budgets. To tell you what the current is, compare the budget, compare the forecast, right? If anything's in the red from forecast to the budget, we can have Budget sends an email out to us so we can check it out. Right? So that's where you want to use it, and that's how it looks. And when you look on there, especially like we talked about, it's going to roll up to your admin account. You can check out what's the budget for the whole company, budget by divisions. Break it down. Hopefully, have a nice dashboard so that manager in that division can just look at it in his dashboard and just see if he blue or red to start with, right? AWS Cost Explorer is similar like the other tool that enables you to visualize and manage your AWS costs. Cost Explorer includes the file report, the usages for top five costing occurring AWS services. You can apply customer filters and groups. Right. So we saw the other one; it was just numbers. This one, gives you a nice pie chart and graphs because a lot of people are so visual. This is what it looks like, right? It tells you what's costing the most, what's costing the least, and stack them on top of it to a nice stack chart. Really quick, you on my hand. I got you, Adrian. I got to figure that out. So I probably get with B2B, and we probably lump that in with technology and kind of get something flow. Like you said, get everybody comfortable. Because I know sometimes I just jump into cybersecurity, and I've been doing it so long, I just jump into to saying all these words and they're coming out of my mouth. So no, here's the stack. Those costs are in the thousands of dollars. So you can see the blue, and it tells you what the charge is for. The TT2 micro, large, C large, and others. Right. So just looking at that, it looks like that's a EC2 instance, and they're sizing it. Just looking at the way they said it, but so you can drill down, and next to it is the service. Let me tell you what that's the instance type for two different services and what their charge is for it. And two is depending on where you need uh, from Amazon. They got different supports. There are four different type of support plans to help you troubleshoot your issues, lower cost, and efficient use of AWS resources. You can choose between basic, developer, business, and enterprise. Right, so I'm trying to do a little basic, So if I got a little support while I'm setting up some labs, right, they can help me. So they were pretty cheap. I think it was like $30 a month or something. So depending on let's drill down on each one of those. Basic support is free for all AWS customers. Includes access to white papers, documentation, support communities. You can also contact AWS billing for questions on service limit increases. Basic support, you have access to a limited selection of AWS trusted advisory checks. Additionally, you have AWS Personal Health Dashboard, a tool that provides alerts and remediation guide when AWS has experienced events that may affect you. Right, so just the basic. As you're learning, you can get those basic white papers and support to help you. Developer support, best practice guidance, client-side diagnostics, building block of architecture support with consistent guidance of how to use AWS offering, featuring, and services together. Suppose that your company is exploring AWS services. You heard about a few different AWS services, but you were unsure how to potentially use them together to build applications that address your company needs, right? So developer support, they give you some architectural documents to figure out how those pieces go together. There's a lot of AWS services too. So business support plans for AWS that are 100 plus. That's not bad though, Brandon. Thanks for that. Yeah, business support. That's one. Have access to additional features, use case guidance to identify AWS offering features and services. All of AWS Trusted Advisor, limited support for third party, common operating system, application stack components, and business support wants to install a common third-party operating system on your Amazon EC2 instance directly. Right? The key thing about that too is since I do a lot of federal work, right? I like to talk to them because sometimes I'm actually in government cloud and what you can do in the commercial cloud. Those services aren't available in the government cloud, right? So I like to use those support things to make sure I'm moving correctly in the government cloud. It's a big dog. Enterprise support, all features included in basic and business support are included in enterprise support, application architecture guidance, which is a consultative relationship to support your company's specific use case, infrastructure, short-term engagement support that helps your company gain better understanding of your cases. This also is a surprise for your architecture and scaling and guys. And you get a technical account manager, so you can actually ask them certain things in that technical advisor. The technical account manager TAM, enterprise support plans into a TAM. If your company is an enterprise support TAM, TAM is your primary contact at AWS. They provide guidance, architectural reviews, and ongoing communication with your company as your plan, deploy, and optimize your application. The technical access manager provides expertise across a full range of AWS services. They help you design solutions that effectively use multiple services together for an integrated approach. So yeah, at work I talk to our TAM for the government agency I work for. Right. Once again, I do a lot of federal work, and all their services aren't available there. So I talk to the TAM and see what's usable, what can I do, and what can I replace this service for in commercial that they have in the government cloud. So a little shout out to the TAM. But I always tell people we pay for them, so we should use them, right? And two is they want you to be successful using AWS's services and architecture. You can get AWS developer support docs tips across various free communities. True, if you have any issues, might like to see someone else. No, that's true. That's true. There's a lot of communities out there and a lot of people that's because AWS is the 800-pound gorilla. So there's a lot of YouTube videos and stuff that I'm looking for. Like Brandon said, and we're going to talk about this later. I've been studying AWS Control Tower. I haven't seen a ton on Control Tower. I think that's a relatively new services, but this is the best time to talk about this feature, price and support with the new R4 report. People can use this feature. Faxes on that. From shout out to Engineering Cannabis. Yeah, we got to make sure we're pricing that right because feds are getting quotes on everything and how you move it. Right? Especially like you said, you cash apping and Zelle money, they definitely gonna report you, right? So quick shortcut is cool is the AWS Marketplace. It's a digital catalog that includes thousands of software listed from independent software vendors. You could use AWS Marketplace to find, test, and buy software that runs on AWS. You can access detailed information on pricing options, available support, and review. Right? So everybody's trying to get on AWS. Everybody's giving you certain services that are add to security or the value of AWS. And you go on AWS Marketplace and you can buy it and upload it in. And a lot of these services in Marketplace actually hook into AWS Advisor and Trusted Advisor, some of their stuff to look check security into those services that you're uploading. Marketplace is a curated digital catalogs that make it easier for organizations to discover and procure entitled government third-party software. You can find thousands of software listed from popular categories like security, business, applications. Shout out to engineering, cannabis, data analytics across specific industries, healthcare, financial, and public sectors. You can also explore and buy professional services to configure and deploy and manage your third party. Right. So that's the cool thing. Once again, I do a lot of federal work, so I'm looking for a certain type of encryption being used that might not be out the box used in AWS or some feature in network. But shout out to Cisco. They got a ton of AWS things you can buy that add value on top of the standard VPC. That's Cisco running. Tetrations. Shout out to Duo. All right, I set up MFA with Duo. Um, Going into my root account, right? That's another Cisco product. You can combine that with AWS SO, right, and take it to a whole nother level. All right, so here's the marketplace. There's some of the popular categories at the bottom, and like I said, it's like over 10,000 results, right? Everybody's trying to jump on the AWS bandwagon and sell you stuff. So there's a ton of stuff out there. I'm working on AWS Solution Architect, professional. Oh, congratulations! I'm right behind you. I think I'm gonna try to. Do you have the associate, or did you go straight for the Solution Architect? Are you doing? You doing? Do you have the associate? What's up, Kev? Tech in the house. Glad you can join me. Doing great work. Some of the popular categories: operating system, security, networking, storage, data analytics, DevOps, machine learning, and data products. I have CCP, SSA. Shout out to Blind Guy, his wife, and their life. Happy New Year's. I know you cooking fruits and vegetables in there, so you get that good greenery in there. Oh, shout out to Brandon. Yeah, I need to start. I, there he is. I miss Love Duo, Set Up Duo, Access Gateway, MFA, Office 350. Yeah, facts. So yeah, like I said, I'm just labbing a little bit every day, Brandon. So I just set up the Duo because the $3 version, they can check the health of your machine, and you can use the NAC part of Duo to combine that with AWS SSO. So that's one of the things I'm gonna try to do in a lab environment, Brandon. So I might be reaching out to you. so, so those are some things I'm working out from architecture and labbing every day. And we're gonna talk about that. I'm trying to set up AWS Control Tower because that's supposed to be the architect, the standard architect that's blessed by AWS, and that's why they created AWS Control Tower. And once again, on the support, you can do it by for marketplace. You can do it by industry categories: financial services, healthcare, medium, and entertainment. Once again, I'm shout out to public sector, then telecommunications. That's cool. I think you like those labs. I'll shout out Noah Okta is definitely up there. Um, Okta usually costs a little more than a Duo. No page. I was just looking at a vendor because I look at all the software. Okta's at the top. They actually partnering with AWS. So no, you 100% correct on that, Noah. It's just a little more pricey to do with a lab, but no, they got a lot of couple of our vendors use Okta, and I'm a super fan of it. So we about to jump into this because once again, if you do your accounts right, like we looked in the uh, slideshow, you can get cost based optimizers depending on if your account rolls up to one account. So you can use it to get more money. So I put Control Tower in there with pricing and support because I think Control Tower is the what AWS wants you to use as a basic architecture diagram and spin that up. And it makes it easier for them to support you, right? Because this is the blueprint that they're recommending. I want to freeze business. That's cool. Twitch. I don't go on Twitch that much currently. Hey, I'm currently at Tenable and we use oh yeah, shout out. We use Tenable at one of my clients too. Great product because we use it to scan stuff. And we're gonna once again, I do government, so I do CIS checks and STIGs, and I'm pretty sure you can put that. I'm kind of the template inside Tenable and scan for vulnerabilities and opportunities to fix stuff in Tenable. So now shout out to you. Those are great products to learn, man. Once you master those, your value's going up because I know our vendors pay a lot of money for them. That'd be a good video. Nmap security. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Because I use Nmap all the time because I'm trying to figure out what ports we have open and don't have open and the ranges and what protocols are we letting through that we should be letting through. So that'd be a great video. I guess I never think you're doing. I always think of Nmap more on a Linux move, Kev Tech. I don't know why I put you more on the Windows side. Maybe that's just me putting you there. But so yeah, I use Nmap all the time because once I lock down my environment, I'm trying to see what rogue ports I have open so nobody can attack me. So trying to make my attack surface as small as possible. So we're gonna run through this launch account. You go create an account at the top. When you create your account, you can manage it. CloudWatch, of course, you're gonna looking for your logs, trying to see who's attacking in your logs, and those rules that you have inside your logs, you can use Lambda, of course, is just an EC2 instance that's spin up. And once again, we talk about programming, where you can use programming to figure out what logs and attacks or in your logs that look funny that you want to send out to other people. If you look over there, there's cloud formation. You stack set your rules. Use customization. When you go over your new account, right? What roles are you giving accounts? What access you giving the account? Once again, you got your VPC, which is your networking, and you got your cloud, your guard cloud duty, right? So that's the basic Amazon architecture they want you to set up. They believe it's super secure, and it makes it easy for them to support when everybody knows what the baseline is for your architecture and you use that baseline, right? To help them support your architecture. So let's talk about AWS Control Tower. It it involves a lot of other services, right? So that's why I think like I'm doing a practitioner. I think my next set of classes is going to probably be off of AWS Control Tower because, like I said, it's a base setup, and from a security perspective, you want to be able to go out the base setup and how to lock down each one of those services. So that's all my things that I'm trying to understand and learn. Like, man, I got a friend that works at Ping Identity. Oh, cool. I used 3389. Got it to work. Got some ideas for security. That's cool. We need all the security we can get, Kev Tech. I'm sure everybody here knows you because I probably got half of my subs for you. But if you're not familiar with my man Kev Tech, doing great work in there, go check him out. So, like I said, I was he interviewed me and helped me out a ton. It was my pleasure to come on this platform. I'm glad he shared it with the little guys. So go check out my man. He's definitely doing big things. AWS Control Towers. Easiest way to set up and govern a secure multi-account, multi environment. One piece in there called Landing Zones. It creates your landing zone using AWS organization, bringing ongoing account management and governance as well as implementation of best practices based on AWS experience, working with thousands of customers. It extends governance in new or existing accounts and gains visibility into compliance. AWS helps you get started quickly with built-in governance and best practice. That's one reason I'm trying to get in and have a very detailed understanding of AWS Control Tower because directly as your it's got best practices, and once again, it'd be easier to them to support. And they got that from going out to 1,000 customers, right? So I've actually been looking at it from an architectural standpoint. I want to say it's a lot different than what I would do on prem from a security perspective. So I'm learning a lot, and like once again, I'm enjoying it. So you can automate the setup of your multiple accounts, environments with just a click, and employs blueprints and capture AWS best practices, configuring for security and management and service to govern your environment. Blueprints are available to provide identity management, federated access to accounts, centralized logging, establish cross-account security audits, define workflow for provisioning accounts, and implementing account baseline with your network configuration. So as a security analyst, like I said, I don't need to be a SME in these areas, but I need to understand from a security perspective how the organization is using each one of these services and how they're affecting the organization. In the past, right, each one would be a separate service. It wouldn't be managed by AWS Control Tower, right? So now it's a managed service. So AWS Control is managing those services for you. Right. Let's see. Thank you if you clocked already. Get ready for my exam in 2 weeks. Happy New Year's. Good luck, Wilton. A big thank you to Professor Black. I'll keep sharing your knowledge. I appreciate that, Wilton. Likewise, I see you, man. Always a pleasure to speak to you. I appreciate it, Kev Tech. Landing Zone. Landing Zone is a well-architected multi-account environment based on security and compliance. Now makes to set up your landing zone, best practices, and blueprints for identity federated access, right? So AWS Control is using the landing zones to do that, right? So that's how I was taking multiple services and putting them together. So let's see, what is a landing zone? Simple blueprints for automatically implementing your landing zone includes multiple accounts using AWS Organization, which is a service. Provide identity management using AWS Single Sign-On. AWS SO is the default directory. Provide federated accounts using AWS SSO. We need centralized logging, AWS Cloud, AWS Config, stored in a simple storage service, Amazon S3. Enable cross-account security audits using AWS Identity and Access Management, AIM, AWS SO. Right, the landing zone set up in AWS Towers managed using a set of mandatory and strongly recommended guidelines, with customer selected with self-service console to ensure that counts and configuration complies with policy. So as you set this up, right, you can start putting on policies and control. Like I do federal work. Shout out to my man network, bro. If you doing regular passwords, they're 14 characters long. Three upper, three special characters, and three numbers, right? If you're using MFA, you can use 8, 1, 1, and 1, right? Because the MFA has so much security, you don't need a longer password. But that's the kind of policies and guardrails I could put in the SSO to make sure nobody does anything radical in there with having a cheap password. What's up, She? Glad you can join us. So that's why you want to use AWS Control Tower with Landing Zone. Then you can put those policies and procedures right to lock down your environment and your application. Account factory, when people come in and you onboard them and you offboard them and you we call them job functions. For these job functions, you get these credentials on these boxes with this permission, right? Because if you're doing a job, you could be on a database, you can be in S3, you can be in EBS block storage that we hook to a Linux. So each one of those are going to have different security and permissions depending on your job function. The account factory automates provisioning of new accounts. That's a configurable account template that helps you standardize provisioning of new accounts with pre-approved account configuration. You can configure your account factory with pre-approved networking configurations, regions, enable self-services for builders to configure and provision new accounts using AWS Service Catalog. Because there might be services that I want my developer to use, right? But I just want to give them access to the services we approve to be used in our company. One from a security point, one from cost, cost perspective. Developers like to try stuff, right? They might get something super expensive that you didn't want them to have, right? So this to give them the blueprint of stuff they can and cannot pick. Additionally, you can take advantage of the control solution like account factory for Terraform to automate provision and customization of the tower. That's when we're talking about programming, right? So Python, you can make Terraform calls. AWS has their own version of Terraform, CloudFormation, right? Control Tower manages the accounts that meet your business and security policies before delivering those to the end user, right? So once again, we security, we want to make sure we give the client, the customers, developer exactly what they need, but not anymore because, right, we're trying to lock down security. We can't let them go willy nilly in our whole organization. We call this preventative, detective, and guardrails. Guardrails are pre-packaged government rules for security operation and compliance that customers can select and apply enterprise-wide or to a specific group of accounts. Guardrails is expressed in plain English and enforce specific governance policy for your AWS environment that can be enabled with AWS organizational unit. Each guardrail has two dimensions. It either can be prevented or detected, or it can be mandatory and optional. Preventing guardrails establish intent and prevent deployment of resources that do not conform to our policy. For example, enable AWS Cloud Trail in all accounts. Detect guardrails, for example, detect whether public read access to Amazon S3 bucket is allowed. Continuous monitoring deployed for the resource is non-conformance, right? So uh, Amazon Cloud Trail should be for the security team and a couple essays, right? Because they're trying to figure out what's going in there, right? In development, you might give the developers read only in the Cloud Trail, but in production, it's just a few people that can look in the log. Some of those logs have SSN in them. PII information or even health information, right? So you got to treat those logs with security. So the active and detective guardrails automatically translate guardrails and granular AWS policies. Establish a configuration baseline using AWS Cloud Formation. Prevent configurations changing to the underlying implementation of service control. Continuously detect and change through AWS config rules for detecting guardrails. Updating guard rail status on AWS Control Dashboard. Right. So once again, AWS Control Tower is the blueprint, and these are all the services it's managing underneath there to help you, with governance and maintaining the highest level of security in your organization. Right. Let's see. That's what we just did. Mandatory and operational guard rails. AWS towers offer curated guardrails based on best practices for policy and guidance. You can leverage the landing zone again. Some examples of mandatory guardrail is this allow AMS roles for setting up AWS Control Tower and Cloud Formation. Detect public read access setting for the log archives. Disallow changing bucket policies to create S3 bucket log archives. Disallow cross-region networking. Right. So once again, these are policies the security setting up, and by alpha policies, right? Policies is just that written down. We actually want to have controls inside of our architecture that won't let you do it. Period. Right. So another mandatory and optional guardrail. We talked about that public writing for S3. Detect whether MFA is used for the right for the root count is enabled. We need to detect whether encryption is enabled for EBS volumes attached to an EC2 instance. Right. So usually that's a Linux and EPC2. EBS is going to be the Linux volume, so you can move on that. So we just want to make sure when we do those policies, we have technical resources to make sure that person can't do that. What's up, Citizen Lou, man? I was talking about you, man. I was talking behind your back. I said we were looking at AWS budget, man. I said we don't want no 40 grand bill like my brother Citizen Lou got, man. We got to make sure we got our stuff locked down so we don't get any crazy bills, man. We got to have our AWS budget. Send us an email if we forecast to go over. Go check out Citizen Lou doing big things on his channel. I'm sure we're gonna collab this year too. So go check him out. And let's make sure we don't get no 40K bills like Citizen Lou, man. He was a role model on that, man. We gotta learn. We gotta learn from our mistakes, Citizen Lou. We gotta learn from our mistakes, though. What's up to him? Go check him out, man. AWS Control Panel Dashboard gives you continuous visibility in the AWS environment. You can visit a number of OUs and account provisions and the number of guardrails enabled and check the status of your OUs and accounts against those guardrails. Like, guardrails is helping us, right? Like little kids when they go bowling and they got the bumper things so they don't make a gutter ball. AWS giving us guardrails so we don't do anything crazy. We have it locked down so we don't make any big mistakes. You can also see a list of non-compliant resources in respect to your guardrail. So that's to us. Like I said, I think I got a couple more weeks of the practitioner. I think I'm gonna switch over and start doing AWS control panel. Like I said, that's the architectural blueprint. You can put in guardrails and mandatory and all kind of stuff to help you not make mistakes, right? So that's the cool thing about it. I just wrapped snatched it off of the AWS. A Let's see, Lou laughing. I think we cool. So AWS Control Tower, easy way to set up and secure governance. Automate the setup of your landing zone, best practices. Apply your guardrails for ongoing governance. Automate your account provisioning work with an account factory. Get dashboard visibility into your organization and units and guardrails. Right. So I think that's one of the great services in there. That's what we looked at. So those are the services we were talking about and how they move. And it's a lot of control because you're calling other services that you used to have to manage yourself. Garo is going, um, control panel is going to guard all that for you, right? So you don't have to manage each one of those services independently. Guardrail is going to be the managed service to help you do AWS org, AWS config, AWS cloud trail. Make sure none of your S3 buckets are, visible to the internet, right? So make sure you setting all those up properly. That's all I have for today. Like I said, pricing and support is not one of the most exciting things inside the practitioner test, but got to put it all in there. So, like I said, I've been hopefully here start going hard and get to moving. So I want to thank everybody from coming out, checking me out. If you got in late, check out the replay. If you got any questions, always hit me up, professorblackops@gmail.com. If you go to my about page, it's on there. So if you want to get together and chop it up or ask me some specific questions, I'm always up for that. That's all I got. Everybody have a happy new year. I actually took 2 additional days on the other side to relax, so I'll probably be working more on my new title. Shout out to Kev Tech. Shout out to everybody in there. Everybody have a